Welcome to this edition of The Forum. I'm your host, Sheila Evans. Here on The Forum, we highlight interesting and important achievements, programs, and events within our school system and community. Today's show is no exception. Things get underway with Matthew Williams. He is the co-chair of Earth Day Alliance. 2018 Earth Day is Saturday, April 21st. He will tell us all about the celebration happening right here in Wilmington. Then we meet with Dave Spencer, New Hanover County Schools Director of Safety. He talks to us about school safety and the recent shooting in Florida. He will review the current safety measures in place and how relationships are important for school safety. And finally, Jessica Blake, Director of Stewardship and Community with the North Carolina Coastal Land Trust, comes into the studio. The 8th annual Flytrap Frolic is coming up. She'll share the details of this family-friendly event, including how you can attend. It's another great edition of The Forum, so stick around and we'll get right back with our guests after this short break.
Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh. Don't you know everyone wants to laugh? My dad said be an actor, my son, but be a comical one. They'll be standing in lines for those old honky-tonk monkey shines. Now you could study Shakespeare and be quite elite, and you could charm the critics and have nothing to eat. Just slip on a banana peel, the world's at your feet. Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
I am joined by Matthew Williams. He is a co-chair for the Earth Day Alliance 2018. Tell us what the Earth Day Festival is.
So we have a lot of vendors. It's pretty much the goal is to teach people in the community how you can really improve the environment, learn what organizations and what the city does to really try and make it a nice place to live and for future generations.
And maybe how to participate and make things better?
Yeah, so we'll have a lot of different organizations and groups will be there so you can learn what gets done in the community and how you can help and improve where we all live.
And where does this happen?
It's at Hugh McRae Park. It's towards the back by the Pine Grove entrance by the tennis courts.
Okay. And what's the date for this event?
It's Saturday, April 21st. It's from noon to 6 p.m.
Okay. Is parking an issue?
We do have a lot of people come. We get about 5,000 people per year if there's no rain. So we have 2 locations this year. You can park in front of the government center on the west side.
Okay.
And we'll have
like
a free
shuttle
trolley
in?
from by Wave. And then we have a new downtown location this year at the Dreams Art Facility. And so we'll have some buses to shuttle people from downtown also.
So I don't have to try to squeeze 5,000 people and they're parking in there. What kind of activities are folks going to see? What's it going to look like?
So we have a lot of vendors. We'll have some that sell things that they make. We'll have organizations kind of teaching what the city does with stormwater services, different things. You can get a lot of little freebies, learn stuff through UNCW, and CFCC usually has stuff to for students in high school looking at what they could do in college in that career field. And then we've got a kids zone tent, so they'll have crafts, different things they can do and learn in there for kids. And we have live music throughout the whole event too. So we'll have bands and Mr. Mark leads the kids around and they can play musical instruments and stuff as well.
Oh, that's cool. Does the aquarium come out and do their kid stuff? Or?
Yeah, so they usually come out. The Raptor Center comes out sometimes.
Oh, the Raptor Center. We've had them on here before. She
Yeah.
brought a hawk and everything.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I mean, you know, you don't get to see that every day. And
Right.
I was kind of just like, oh, wow, you have something. So that's cool. That's really cool. What about food and drinks?
So should have 3 food trucks. We'll have smoothies, dessert vehicle. So we're really trying to get it so once you're there, you can enjoy your time. You don't have to leave to get food. Or we'll have Culligan's providing free water.
Nice.
So if people bring reusable water bottles, and we'll have some Earth Day water bottles for sale also for people that forget them.
Well, that's a good idea. Does it cost anything to attend? Any admission fee?
Nope, it's free to attend. Everything's good. The only cost would be any food or drink or snacks that you want to get.
Now, were you involved last year?
Yeah, so this is my 3rd year.
Okay.
Last year I was vice chair.
Okay.
And so this year they gave me more responsibility.
Uh-oh, there you go. Well, tell me something different this year from last year.
So we really cycle through, get different bands, try and really focus on local bands to try and spread the wealth that way. But in between the first and second band this year, there's actually going to be a gentleman leading meditation to try and just get positive energy, and it's a lot of the people that come kind of have showed interest in that in the past, so we're trying to incorporate that this year.
That's pretty cool because you're sitting there in nature, you know, and let's just all take it in, you know. Cool.
Just let everyone relax, and we'll also have old books on Front Street is going to come this year, and so they're going to have a lot of books that they've been selling. There's an environmental book club that meets every month, and so they're going to have all the books they've read for the last few years.
Oh, that's neat.
If people want to learn more that way too. And so that'll give you on a larger scope than just what's around Wilmington, but what impacts globally.
Cool. Very cool. What else do you think we need to know?
Pretty much it's a really good time. You can be out there for a few hours for the whole time. And it's a really good opportunity for people to come learn a lot of new things. And that's really our big goal, is to educate the public and have people learn about new perspectives and what they can do in the community.
Does the City of Wilmington bring their solid waste folks in and stuff like that to talk about recycling, or?
So, yeah, they'll have stuff. They'll have an exhibitor booth usually. They help us out with, we've got a big recycle center. Our goal is to really have zero waste this year, and so we're actually going to have a big compost bin too.
Cool.
And so people should be able to bring in stuff to compost if they want, and they're going to have a big bin that either the city or the county is going to then take care of. We're still working the details with that one.
I just think that sometimes people are not aware of recycling do's and don'ts. Pizza boxes. I didn't know about the grocery store bags. It says on the bag you can recycle it, but we're not supposed to. They have to be separated. I didn't know that. But I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things, and depending on, that's what's good with this is each community has different capacities. Wilmington's actually very good with the amount they can recycle.
1 through 6.
Yeah, and most people just 1 or 2.
Right.
But there are, if things are greasy, if there's wax built in with the cardboard, like with orange juice containers or something like that, it makes it really hard to separate. So that's something that they can't handle.
Right.
But that's information that you could learn, because they always have people out there.
And I think it's a great, you know, you just think you can recycle it because it says that it's recyclable, but like you said, it depends on where you live. Or even the coffee cup, the little, I'm at a loss for words.
Like
the little thing that goes around the cup is recyclable, and the lid is, but not necessarily the cup because of the wax coating or something. I was like, well, I didn't know that. And the grocery store bags were a surprise to me.
Yeah, because
they actually have to be separated out.
Yeah, because they'll get caught up in all the gears, and then
didn't have any idea. Makes sense.
The machinery.
So you know, I think that's a great opportunity for folks to learn a couple of those little things I didn't know. And the pizza boxes, not if they're greasy.
Right.
And how often does that happen that it's not? You know.
Yeah. You have to.
So that's pretty cool.
If the top's not greasy.
No, I never thought about that. Yeah. You're so smart. And my mother was a pioneer recycler when I was a kid, and I'm 55. Well, that's absolutely interesting. Saturday, April 21st, Hugh McRae Park.
Yes.
9 to 1? 9 to 6?
Noon to 6.
Noon to 6, okay. Noon to 6, but we can get a trolley downtown at Dreams or
the Government Center.
The Government Center.
And so they'll be going it'll be picked up every hour, essentially, because it'll take a half hour to get from each location to the park. And then, so it'll be starting at 11:30, you can be at the Government Center. And then on the hour, they can pick you up at the park and bring you back to your car.
Nice. Well, you guys seem to have it worked out. See, your increased responsibilities really worked out. Okay. Well, Matthew, thank you so much. We'll be back in a few minutes, right after these messages.
Your company can join these local businesses in offering students with disabilities the much-needed experience to compete in today's job market.
To see the kids every day come in and certainly have a sense of accomplishment and get to do a job well done, it's very enriching to not only the kids but also to all of us around here.
For young people with disabilities, participating in mentoring programs, job shadowing, and internships are great ways to make them stand out among other job applicants.
I'd say it's kind of a win-win. I mean, not only you're doing the right thing for the community and these kids, but you're also allowing them to grow and get the skills necessary to be successful in the future.
Internships serve as skill-building tools for students to obtain vital career development. If your business would like more information on how it can benefit from adding a student intern from New Hanover County Schools to its roster, please contact the Special Education Department now at 254-4445.
They're doing a fantastic job and we couldn't be happier.
I am joined by Dave Spencer. He's the Director of Safety for New Hanover County Schools. And no doubt that's a big topic here today.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, in this climate. Tell us a little bit about the state of school safety here in New Hanover County.
Let me begin by saying what I've said for over 30 years in New Hanover County. I think our schools are safe. I had two daughters. My wife and I had two daughters come through the school system, and didn't have a single day where I was concerned about their safety, because I knew we were sending those girls off to schools where adults who were in charge were there because they wanted to be there. They were there because they care about their children, the overall well-being of the children, not just the 3 R's, so to speak, but just overall well-being of the children. And that's continued even, you know, our kids have been out of school for a long time, but that's still going on at our school. So overall, we've got wonderful staffs, for the most part, who are going above and beyond what they need to do as far as being educators. And you know, the addition of the SROs that has proven invaluable to us, not just from the perspective of law enforcement, but from another set of adult eyes and ears and around campus, and just an adult presence.
And an opportunity for a relationship with that adult.
Absolutely.
Who's standing in the hallway every day.
And the key right there is relationships.
Right, right.
You know, that relationship, it's, the SROs aren't security guards. They're not, they are, when I was in the schools, they were considered to be part of my staff. And I'm hoping that that's the way it is at every school, that our SROs are viewed as staff members by students as well as by other staff members, and that relationship opportunity is definitely there.
Right. And in addition to that, we're both Hoggard folks. I always thought that even the janitorial staff had that opportunity, particularly Miss Brown.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, she knew amazingly many kids, and she knew when they were having an off day and that kind of thing.
That's one of the things that we stress, is that every adult on our campus is part of those children's lives, one way or the other, hopefully in a positive way, but they're going to have an impact, you know, from the cafeteria staff, the custodial staff, even volunteers who come in. And adult presence makes a big difference for these kids. They, a lot of times kids are going to act like, you know, well, we don't want to be around adults, you know, you're them and we're us kind of approach. But I really believe that most do, and they long for that adult presence.
I agree with you. Let's talk about the shooting in Parkland. Has that affected what we're doing here at all?
Such tragedy. It has affected what's happening here mainly, I think, in just bringing it back to the awareness of people that aren't thinking about it every day. Other than having my heart broken after reading about it, my thoughts didn't change from February 13th to February 15th. We approach this possibility every single day. I mean, it's on my mind. I know it's on a lot of our staff members' minds. You know, the what if. You play the what if game, and we've always got to have that awareness. And the idea of thinking, well, it could never happen here, we'd be fooling ourselves.
Sure.
So what this did, I think, was just bring to mind in a lot of other people's minds the potential that some tragedy like this could happen anywhere.
Now, we definitely have some good barriers at elementary and middle school. When I go to middle school, I get buzzed in through my job and such. But I do certainly see the challenges that there are in the high schools.
Absolutely.
If I went to Hoggard High School, the students, I just went the other day to take care of something, those students are going to open the door for me.
We've got to tighten up.
Right. I mean, it's just, you know, they're polite about it. I don't know the answer when there's so many entrances, exits, etc. Kids going out back, that kind of thing.
We're looking at, I know with our operations department, it is definitely taking a look at some other options to harden our schools a little bit more, particularly with our high schools with so many different doors and openings. And we've also got to tighten up our presence. Our staffs need to be a little more visible during class change times. On our high schools, every 90 minutes, you've got over 1,000 people.
1,800 kids going
moving
somewhere
all
else.
around. Right. And so we, there's some things that we can do to tighten up before those hardening type of opportunities come into play. There are some things that we can do and should be doing, and hopefully, again, if there's anything that came out of this Parkland tragedy, it's that reawakening. So, we've got to be a little bit more diligent in what we do in our schools.
Are we the See It, Say Something campaign? Is that in every school, particularly high schools, where we're not as tight because of just the layout?
Right. That concept has been around for ever, but we want to emphasize it again. If you see something, say something. And the My 17 approach that we're rolling out this week, 12 of those 17 items, I think it's 12 of those items deal with just being kind to people, treating people nicely. And that when you start doing that, you get a better read on somebody. You know if something's not quite right. But it goes back to what we were talking about at the very beginning, that relationship.
Well, you don't have to sell me on that for sure. What else do you think we probably need to know, or what should parents be doing? Any last bit of advice?
The advice to parents, talk to your kids. Listen to your kids. If you ask questions, be willing to accept the answers you get. Be willing to ask the tough questions, and then be willing to accept those answers you got. And then let somebody know. If something's going on in a school, or you just suspect something's going on in a school, let somebody, let a trusted adult at that school know, or someone. I hate to say it, but if there's situations where there is no trust with someone, contact someone that you do trust and have them contact the school.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate the update on the state of our safety. And we'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages. I hope it.
Get connected with your school system. Your School News covers news that matters for parents, guardians, and Greater New Hanover County. Stories about preparing students for success in a changing world. Stories where students are achievers.
Internship, we pretty much made a vehicle from spare parts, and at first we made it so it just moved, and then we made it so it was an electrical vehicle.
Stories of teaching where every child yearns to learn.
Today is all about STEAM. STEAM is kind of the key word to tying art into science, technology, engineering, and math.
Your School News brings viewers more than 8 hours of school news and information, reporting on what's happening in the district, what students are learning, how the school system operates, and beyond. Your School News, only on this channel.
Jessica Blake is my next guest. She is the Director of Stewardship and Community Conservation for the North Carolina Coastal Land Trust. That's a lot to say.
It is.
So we're here today to talk about the Fly Trap Frolic.
Yes.
8th annual.
8th annual Fly Trap Frolic. It's a free and family-friendly event that it's an environmental education event that we do for the community every single year, and it features native carnivorous plants and ones that thrive in North Carolina and some other ones as well in our carnivorous plant garden. It's the Stanley Reeder Carnivorous Plant Garden located behind Alderman Elementary School.
Okay. And when is it this year?
It is April 21st, so Saturday, April 21st from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you don't need to be there all day long, but come around your soccer schedule or whatever's going on Saturday, and it's free. to the public, so your whole family can come. There's something for everyone.
Cool. Do you think the kids are surprised when they realize like that this is one of the only places that we have the fly traps?
I do. It never ceases to amaze me. You know, we've been doing this for 8 years, but there are people in Wilmington that haven't seen a fly trap. And one of the things that's really cool about a Venus flytrap is that it is endemic to this region, which means that it only grows here. In a 100-mile radius from where we're sitting right now, flytrap, that's the only place in the whole world. And it's a carnivorous plant. It eats insects.
It's pretty cool.
So how cool is that,
Yeah.
that you live in the town where insect-eating plants are from?
I was a Girl Scout leader, and we were at Camp Pretty Pond in Boiling Spring Lakes, and they were around this, little bridge and stuff. And those girls went out a couple times to see if they could catch it eating something. We didn't, unfortunately, but still, how cool right there.
Right there. And there are other carnivorous plants in the garden as well. There's a lot of varieties of pitcher plants. So they'll be able to see the different ways that carnivorous plants are able to eat insects, from traps like fly traps to pitchers.
What makes the Venus flytrap so special, besides the fact that we kind of have ownership
aside from the fact that it's our plant, it is a carnivorous plant. So it's a trap mechanism. It eats insects this way. And it's also really quite rare because it's only located here and a lot of its habitat no longer exists. So being able to communicate to children that they're here and it's special and that we are at the Coastal Land Trust protecting areas that have the flytrap is important to us.
Gotcha. Can you pick a Venus flytrap?
You cannot pick a Venus flytrap. And people ask me that all the time, but it is illegal to pick a Venus flytrap. It actually is more illegal than it used to be. It's now a felony.
No way.
It is.
I did not know that, and I work in criminal court.
It is a felony. And the thing about that is it's because they are so rare and so special. And so our purpose for this flytrap frolic is to communicate how special these plants are and why they're protected, and as well as being proud of the fact they're from here. This is our natural heritage in Wilmington. So even though you can't pick them, there are ways you can have a flytrap. And at the flytrap frolic, we will have 100 plants for sale. They are cloned plants, not natural plants.
No, how about that? Now, certainly you can't do all this by yourself. Do you have some community partners that help you?
We definitely have community partners, and we're so excited to work with them every year. The City of Wilmington,
very good.
The New Hanover County Schools, UNCW, the North American Sarracenia Conservancy.
Wow, that was easy to say.
Right?
What is that?
Sarracenia is the genus of a carnivorous plant. So
oh, okay. Did not know that.
It's the pitcher plant, actually.
Gotcha.
And then the North Carolina Science Festival. We're partnered with them as well.
Very cool. So a lot of people out there giving some explanations of what we're looking at.
Yeah, we will have a lot of people out there to help with, there's going to be crafts and activities, including a plant identification scavenger hunt. We have staff and volunteers and students that can help you with plant identification, as well as other partners that are there. A lot of times we'll have people that have snakes, and they're contained, and you can touch them if you'd like. But there's an opportunity to learn about all the different types of plants at the same time, just being right in your own backyard.
And you mentioned that one of the community partners was the North Carolina Science Festival. Is that pretty cool to deal with somebody with such credentials?
I mean, it's nice to put that little label on our thing, but it's an initiative with the Moorhead Planetarium. And what it's doing is it's making sure that North Carolina is emphasizing science and technology, engineering and mathematics, STEM, in a way that is community engaging and reminding everyone that science is a fun thing to do.
There you go. So we drive up to Alderman. It'll be pretty obvious where we're going.
It will. There's signage there, parking there. There's probably volunteers. We have volunteers every year helping you park. And we have a huge crowd usually. We see about anywhere from 400 to 600 people, not all at the same time because it's from 9 to 1.
That's good.
It's from 9 to 1. So it is pretty spread out.
Okay, that's
and
nice.
You're able to walk down. It is handicap accessible. And so you will be greeted and you'll get your scavenger hunt card and you'll be able to explore the garden and all of the things that we have to teach you that day.
Okay. And so you get a scavenger hunt card, and then is it like station to station to station kind of
There
thing?
are, but it's not sort of a flowing thing. It's float around and do whatever you want. If you don't want to stop at the snakes, you can pass those right by.
Are snakes on the scavenger hunt?
The scavenger hunt is just for the carnivorous plants.
Fun.
But there are other things and a lot of activities this year.
So it's pretty cool for some young people and older people.
It's fun
that,
for
that
people
we're
of all
learning
ages.
kind of by accident and having fun with it.
Exactly. It's fun for the whole family. Every single year we have people with small children and grandparents all at the same time learning new things.
We talked about how the Venus flytrap, if you would pick one, could be a felony. Are the pitcher plants protected in the same manner?
It is not the same legislation. They are not. And you'll find that some of the pitcher plants here are not native to North Carolina. It is a garden.
Okay, so we have ownership of the Venus flytrap,
Yes.
and that's why
Yes.
that's the way
And
it
our
is.
native pitcher plants are all found in this garden as well, but you will see some there that you don't see normally in nature in North Carolina.
Oh, really? Okay, so it really is a special patch of land.
It
huh?
really is. It's like nothing anywhere else.
And it has a special name.
It does. It's the Stanley Reeder Carnivorous Plant Garden, which is inside the Piney Ridge Nature Preserve. And Stanley Reeder was a huge advocate for the Venus flytrap.
And did he did this first flytrap frolic? Am I correct, or was he already gone then?
You know, it's been 8 years. I don't remember
Okay,
because but I've worked with him for a very long time on that area before it was open to the public.
Gotcha.
And he was an asset to the community.
Okay. Oh, absolutely. I never really even realized they were here till that point. Well, Jessica, thank you. Saturday, April 21st, 9 to 1. Don't everybody come at once. But we'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages.
Start your day with New Hanover County Schools, the morning show. This Rise and Shine program will put a smile on your face and a spring in your step. Best of all, you'll start the day a little smarter, knowing more about our district leaders and teachers, discovering new frontiers in science and technology, and getting the latest school news from across the district. New Hanover County Schools, the morning show, educating all viewers to achieve today and tomorrow in a global community. Only on this channel.
We hope you've enjoyed our program today. Earth Day 2018 is Saturday, April 21st. The celebration will go from 12 noon until 6 p.m. at Hugh McRae Park. To learn more, visit WilmingtonEarthDay.com. For more information on school safety, you can visit the school system's website at www.nhcs.net or call the safety department at 254-4275. And finally, the Flytrap Frolic is also on April 21st. It runs from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. and is a free event held at the Stanley Reeder Carnivorous Plant Garden at 3800 Canterbury Road. Visit coastlandtrust.org for all the details. And if you ever have any questions about any of the topics that we discussed here today, please call the school system's public relations office at 254-4180. I'm Sheila Evans, and thanks for joining me today.